everyone. My name is Sridevi. I am a rising senior at Lone Star High School. I'm also one of the debate captains, which is why I think that it's really important that we have this workshop. We will be getting a lot of tips and tricks on the upcoming youth speech competition. So, a little bit of information about the competition is that it's for all students from first grade to 12th grade. It will be virtual and it's on July 10th from 2 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. Um, the reason behind this competition is that the registration fee and the donations that you've given is what goes directly to the India and COVID crisis that's happening right now. And we will be providing mattresses and beds and other important items for those that are affected by the pandemic. So, a huge thank you to everyone. Thank you so much for donating and registering. We will also be having a guest speaker, Aishu, who will be helping us and giving us incredibly beneficial tips and tricks. And just a little quick blurb about Aishu is she's been in speech, debate, and in Toastmasters throughout middle school and high school. And she's been participating in various public speaking events and in UT as well. So everyone, please welcome Aishu.
Can you guys see my screen? Awesome.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm so happy to be here today. I hope everyone's having a great afternoon. I'm honored to give whatever tips and tricks I have on public speaking, and I really hope it benefits you guys. So a little bit about myself. As Sridevi mentioned, I was in Toastmasters, and I was in speech and debate throughout high school. And currently I am a junior at UT Austin. So I'm in college. And today I'll just share some of the things that I've learned across being in Toastmasters and speech and debate throughout the years that have really helped me with public speaking. So public speaking is one of the most top fears in people. It's known as glossophobia, and it's ranked higher than a fear of heights and the fear of death, which is crazy, which means that if you're at a funeral, most people would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy, which is really crazy to me because public speaking is a very valuable skill that needs to be taught throughout school. And I really believe that if you can master public speaking, you can master anything. So today, my goal is to help you guys ease the nerve of public speaking a little bit. So over 74% of people, they suffer from some sort of speech anxiety. So if you ever feel nervous before giving a big presentation or telling a story, or even just talking to a lot of people, that's completely normal. So the first thing that we need to do is destigmatize the whole idea of being nervous as being a bad thing, because it's not, it's totally normal. So how do you know if you have speech anxiety? Well, common symptoms of stage fright is, shaking or blushing, your heart is pounding, your voice is shaking, you feel a shortness of breath, dizziness, upset stomach. It's totally not limited to these, but these are the most common symptoms. So if you're ever feeling this before a speech, remember, it is completely normal and it's okay. So there are so many ways to combat stage fright. The biggest thing that has helped me personally is rehearsing in front of close friends or family members. This is one of the most biggest steps to take, but it's also the most easiest and the most beneficial because you're in front of people that just don't judge you at all. They're there for you, and it's probably the easiest way to just get exposure. Another way, if you want to practice by yourself, is to just simply look in front of a mirror, practice a speech in front of a mirror, because you can look at yourself and you can take note of your body language, any weird or sudden movements. And then another way to do this is also record yourself. So you don't have to look at yourself directly, but rather record and watch later and take a good note of what you like and what you can improve on. Also, a very important thing to do as you're speaking to an audience is to rehearse your moves or steps while you take when you're presenting. So you don't want to stand there and be completely still. You want to have a little bit of movement. Something that I like to do when I was giving a speech is during the introduction, body, and conclusion, I would move according to what point I was saying. So during the introduction, I would stand in the middle of the room. Then when I got to the body paragraph, I would move a little bit to the left so that the audience knew that I was having a shift in what I was talking about. And then I would move slightly depending on what point I was trying to say. Then when it came back to the conclusion, I would move back to the original spot to let the audience subconsciously know that I was returning to the original point. This is a very important thing to rehearse. And once you have it all planned out, it eases a lot of the nerves. Something that also really helped me was doing impromptu speaking. This is when you just speak without any sort of preparation, and it really puts you on the spot. It's something that is very nerve-wracking, but I believe that once you master this, it's very easy to prepare a speech and speak in front of a lot of people. Another thing is to control your body. I touched on this a little bit when I was talking about rehearsing your body movements. But another way to do this is to take deep breaths right before you start, and that'll control your heart rate. A lot of times we get nervous and our heart starts to beat very fast. For me personally, when I get nervous, I tend to speak very quickly and nobody can understand me. But a really good way to combat this is to just take deep breaths before, and that'll control your heart rate. Another thing that can seem intimidating is making eye contact with each person in the audience. Over Zoom is a little bit easier. You don't have to look at each person. But once we get out into the real world, out in the open, you're going to have to make eye contact with people. But I found that a really easy way to bypass this is to look at their foreheads. That way it kind of looks like you're looking at them in the eye, but you're actually looking at their forehead. And for me, it takes a little bit of pressure off of trying to make a direct connection with each person I'm looking at, which in my opinion is a little bit intimidating. So I feel like looking at their forehead is a good stepping stone to be able to make eye contact with everyone in the audience. Then another thing is don't rely on a cue card. I believe that having an index card with a couple of points can be a very useful tool, but the mistake is made when you write your entire speech on a card. I believe that this really takes away from your speech and makes the speech a little bit impersonal, and also adds more nerves because you feel like you have to follow the card exactly. It's completely okay to stray a little bit from what you're talking about, but as long as you're confident and you have a general idea of where you want to go with the speech and have rehearsed previously, then you really don't need that much on a cue card. You should use a cue card to just guide you rather than lead you completely. And then, of course, the most important thing is to smile when you're presenting. You don't want to be very neutral looking or have a straight face. And also, there has been scientific research that if you smile for 60 seconds, even if it's a fake smile, it literally improves your mood. So you literally feel happier, even if you're faking a smile. I mean, they do say, fake it till you make it, right? So here's a TED Talk, and it's about a kid who was very nervous about public speaking, but he got over it, and this is his story.
I really can't believe I'm up.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Just a couple of years ago, I had a terrible stage fright. Holiday concerts? Nope. Reading in front of the class? Forget about it. Off I go. So now for me to be able to stand in front of you and deliver a TED Talk, well, I think that's a really big deal. And me being able to find my voice is exactly what I want to talk to you about today, and why it's not just important for me, but for everyone to learn public speaking and find their voice. Public speaking. It's often listed as the #1 fear in the entire world. Fear more than death. Think about that. More people would rather die than just speak. Now, our teachers probably say we talk too well, way too much, but everyone has a voice. Everyone. In fact, there's a really amazing TED Talk by a woman named Prisa Kazar. Prisa talks for her autistic son, Payam. Doctors said Payam would never speak. After years of trying everything, Prisa finally found what's called the RPM method, a method where doctors use letters on a letterboard to help autistic children communicate. And in just a couple of weeks, Payam finally typed. I want everyone who sees this to begin to shift their perspective and have more belief in all of humanity. So whether our voice has been silenced because of circumstance of fear, I don't really know. But if it's fear, I think that's a little weird. None of us started out afraid of anything. So I think it must have crept up on us along the way. But if we stay afraid, I don't think we learn anything at all. Sir Ken Robinson, someone who speaks on education, says there are three main principles in which human life flourishes: individuality, creativity, and curiosity. And he says that schools like Finland that help students express these three traits have an almost 0% dropout rate compared to America's almost 35%. And that's exactly what public speaking helps us do. It helps us to build individuality, creativity, and curiosity. It helps us to flourish. But rather, in America, we're judged on achievement. And don't get me wrong, achievement is important. We all know we have to pass the tests, shoot the baskets, score the goals. We need good grades. We know that. And we have every one of you to remind us of that again and again and again. But those basically require us to fill in the same boxes, shoot the same baskets. Public speaking is more of an art that lets us express things we don't always get a chance to express. It's interesting. In Greek and Roman time, the art and skill of public speaking was considered essential. It was actually taught until the 1950s, but it was pulled out. But today, I'd argue we need it more than ever. Because of how fast the world moves, we're being trained for jobs that don't even exist yet. Everyone is asking us, what are you going to be when you grow up? Fact is, no one really knows, but we know we're going to have to communicate online, in real life. Whether we're quiet or talkative, academic or an athlete, still holds true. Now, I don't have any studies on this, but I'm guessing most adults want us to be happy, kind, articulate human beings. Yes? Right? By show of hands, who wants us to be happy, kind, articulate human beings rather than unproductive, mean lumps? I know you all get mad at us because you think we have our heads dug into our phones, and that's a little bit true. But we are communicating constantly, which means our voices are more necessary than ever. Otherwise, it's like playing a game of basketball without knowing where the baskets are. If you don't have the core skills, you're not going to be able to play very well. If you learn to find your voice and express that voice, you learn that you matter. You learn that you're good enough. You learn that even if you get knocked down, you get right back up. You learn that you're okay exactly as you are. My mom always says, when we believe in ourselves and support others, anything is possible. And we wouldn't be here today doing a TED Talk if that wasn't true. But we did believe in ourselves. Not just us, the entire community was pulling for us. And something amazing happened. This happened. Something no one thought we could do. Not for a group of middle school kids. But here we are, sharing ideas in a way that we will hope create a better world and inspire others to do the same. And look at some of the superstars that did that kind of thing. Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Maya Angelou, each who used their voices and united entire populations. Look, I'm guessing those kids were once 12 years old too, right? Yes, they were born marching down the street or elected into office. So why can't students today do the same? Hayum Khosravi, a boy with autism, but someone believed in him and helped him express his voice. Eamon Kennedy, a boy who once hated to get on stage, but someone believed in me and helped me express my voice. If we don't silence our voice and share it with compassion and empathy, I think together we can create a better world. My name is Eamon Kennedy. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, I hope all of you guys enjoyed that TED Talk as much as I did. I thought it was really inspiring for a 12-year-old boy to get up there and really say the truth about public speaking. It's not as intimidating as it needs to be. And the more that you expose yourself to public speaking, the more opportunities you have to just showcase your personality and who you are.
Yeah, definitely, Aishu. He was talking about one thing, believe in ourselves. That's a truth.
Exactly.
He's very inspirational to it, everyone. It was good.
Yes. So, as he said, public speaking is not easy. So let's fix that. I want all of you guys here to just break the ice and introduce yourselves with your name, your age, and a fun fact about yourself. So let's start. Does anyone want to go first?
I can.
Okay. Yes, please unmute yourself and then introduce.
Hi, my name is Varsha Kumanan. I'm 12 years old and I learned to talk when I was around 7 to 8 months old, and that's not a lie.
Wow. Okay, who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, Idira.
Hi, my name is Adira and I am 10 years old. I've been wanting to public speak probably since the first time I saw somebody speaking. Since I saw my mom speaking on a stage, I've been wanting to do public speaking, and that's all life.
That's great. Okay, who would like to go next?
Can I go?
I'm sorry, who is that? Just one person unmute and then say your name. I can't see all the names on the screen. But if one person wants to unmute.
Aishu. My name is Aishu.
That's my name too.
But my name is Aishwarya Arvind Krishna.
How old are you, Aishu?
I am 7 years old and I am in first grade and I'm going to second grade.
Do you want to say a fun fact about yourself?
Yes. My fun fact is I like to eat dosa and dried grapes.
I love that too. That's one of my favorite foods.
Thank you.
Okay, who would like to go next?
Can I go next?
Yes, Pranav.
My name is Pranav Krishnan, and a fun fact about myself is that I've done a TED Talk in TEDx.
Really? What was it about?
Oh, it was actually about a quote called "Finding the End of the String."
Wow. Do you want to say a little bit about it?
Okay, so the quote which the quote's basically saying that so we all have to plan ahead and work towards a goal, and in the process of doing so there's lots of flaws which most people do, and I was just listing ways on how to correct them and then how to spend your time more wisely and manage time well.
Wow. That is really cool. I've always wanted to do a TED Talk too. So that's so cool that you've done that before. You should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Okay, Akash, you can go next.
Hi everyone, my name is Akash and I'm fourth grade and I like to play a lot and speak.
That's so cool. You're already ahead of the game since you like speaking. Okay, Coven, I saw your hand raised. You can go next.
Hi, my name is Kavin. Hi, my name is Kavin, and I'm 9 years old, going to fourth grade. And a fun fact about myself is that I lost my first tooth when I was 6.
Wow, me too. I also lost my first tooth when I was 6. Okay, Tejasvi, you can go next.
Hello, my name is Tejasvi Gopala Krishnan. I'm going to 5th grade and I'm 12 years old. And a fun fact about myself is that I've actually been in the Indian newspaper for humanitarian work.
Wow, that is so impressive. Do you want to talk a little bit about what humanitarian work you did?
So I did, as the time when I was doing it, I was about 5 to 6 years old. And during that time in India, there were a lot of less trees and oxygen was running low. So many people ran a campaign and I decided to help for it and started planting trees with policemen and other kids of my age.
Wow, that is so inspiring. You should be very proud of yourself that you did that and making a change in this world. Okay. Yeah.
Ishu, we have seen many raising hands on the screen. So you can,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Shambhavi, I saw your hand was raised for a really long time.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Shambhavi. I'm 10 years old. And one fun fact about myself is I've spoken in front of a small audience before, so like I have a little bit of experience.
Nice. That's cool that a lot of people here are familiar with public speaking.
And it's really nice to hear the fun facts from all the.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really interesting to hear that.
Okay. Shashmina, you can go next.
Okay, so hi, my name is Shashvina, and my age is 7. And my fun fact is gymnastics. I love gymnastics because we like do splits, and I'm really flexible. Not like that flexible. We can do cartwheels, no hand cartwheel, like that. So I like gymnastics.
Nice. I used to do gymnastics too when I was 7.
Can I go next?
Yes, Mohan, you can go next.
My name is actually Aravi, but my dad forgot on a meeting yesterday, so I changed it. My
Okay.
One fact
You say
is
age?
I like art, and I am 8 years old, moving to 3rd grade. Yeah. And I'm in Winter Elementary School.
That's so fun. Okay, Yvonne, you can go next.
Hi, my name is Yvonne. I'm 9 years old. My hobby is coding, and live in a family of 4.
Okay.
Ishu, Kritik is raising his hand for a long time.
Okay, yeah, you can go.
So my name is Kritik. I'm 7 years old, and I have some Legos. I build anything I can imagine, and I build 100 of them already. That's how I have so much creativity.
That's so fun. Yeah, Legos are really fun to play with and very creative. Okay, is it Suhi?
Saharti.
Suhurti?
Hi, my name is Saharti. I am 8 years old, and I am a bookworm. I always get books, at least like 15 or 20 books from the library every week.
That is so cool. Yes, it's really good to read a lot. Okay, Sai, you can go next.
So hi, I'm Sai, and I'm 13 years old, and I've been playing tennis for like 3 years now.
That's so fun. Okay, Sarvesh, you can go next.
Hi, my name is Sarvesh. I'm in 7th grade. I'm going to 8th grade. I'm 12 years old, and a fun fact about me is I'm good at art, and I like playing soccer.
Oh, that's so fun. Yes, art. I used to also do art when I was in 7th and 8th grade, so I completely relate. Okay, Bhavishya, you can go next.
My name is Bhavishya. I'm 11 years old, and I love to paint. I painted on a canvas when I was like 9, maybe. I thought I was a really bad artist, but then my mom helped me, and then I found out I'm actually pretty good at art. So now the painting is hanging on my wall.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I used to on canvases as well, and it took me a lot of practice, but I think I'm okay now. Okay, Arjun, you can go.
Hi, my name is Arjun. I'm 11 years old. And a fun fact about me is that when I was second grade, I was in a level of 10th grade math.
Wow. You're very smart. Okay, Tejasvi? I think your hand is raised.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, my name is Tejasvi. I am 12 years old, and a fun fact about me is that I once won a writing contest for the Barbara Bush Foundation, and I got to meet Mary Pope Osborne, who wrote the Magic Treehouse series.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. The Magic Treehouse series used to be like my all-time favorite series when I was like maybe around like first all the way through like middle school. That's so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Did everybody go? If you haven't gone, I really encourage you to speak up.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Monish. I'm 11 years old. I'm gonna turn 12 in August, and I really love to read books. My favorite series is Wings of Fire, and I also like to read Percy Jackson and Velma.
Those are some really good books. Okay, Anjali?
Hi, my name is Anjali Shivkumar. I'm 14 and going into 9th grade. And a fun fact about myself is I love drawing and playing the harp.
Nice. Yeah, she's my sister. Okay, Nirosh?
Hi, my name is Narosh, and I'm 11 years old, and I like to play.
What do you like to play?
No, I like to play soccer.
Okay. Okay, I think that might have been everybody. Is there still anybody who has not introduced themselves?
Aishu, what do you think? I have started seeing some great public speaker in the future.
I think so too. I think this is a very talented group of individuals who will
Yeah.
definitely make
Oh,
it
yeah,
fun.
yeah, that's true.
Oh,
And
I see Shriksha and Vishwak have not gone yet.
My name is Shiksha and I am 10 years old and I like cats.
My name is Vishwak. I'm a 10-year-old.
That's not a
I think you cut out a little bit. I'm not sure if anybody else had that problem.
They froze for me.
Okay. Could you guys introduce yourself one more time? You guys cut out, unfortunately.
My name is Shiksha. I am 10 years old and I like cats.
My name is Vishwak. I'm 10 years old and I learned to read at a very young age.
Okay. Well, I think that's it. If there's no one else, and we can.
Aishu is raising her hands up. Aishwarya.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Aishu, go ahead.
I have one more fun fact about me.
Yes.
Today I got a nama juice and every time when I get something, I usually make something out of the boxes. And today I made a water bottle. So
Wow.
that's fun fact.
That's very fun. You seemed
you.
like you had a lot of fun doing that.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna share my screen again and then we can continue.
Thank you so much for your fun facts, friends.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to all of them. I can tell that you all are just super bright people. Okay. So the first thing that we did is we all exposed ourselves to public speaking. And I noticed in all of you guys, there's something special about each and every one of you. all of you guys participated on your own, and I didn't have to go and, force anyone to participate, which is already a really good sign in my opinion. So some ways to just put yourself out there even more is, first and foremost, to join a Toastmasters club. I think there are like hundreds of thousands of chapters across the world. And I think a lot of them are doing Zoom meetings. So if that's something that interests you, you can always look up a Toastmasters club near you and maybe get yourself involved in it. But basically, the whole point of this club is to prepare a speech, and you pick a topic and then you prepare it within a week, and it's about like 5 to 7 minutes. And then there's also impromptu speaking as well. And so I believe that these clubs are like a really good way to just get more and more public speaking exposure. And you also get to watch other people speak as well. So you're part of the audience and you get to critique people as well as speak yourself. So you kind of get to understand both sides, which I think is very valuable. And then table topics kind of goes along with Toastmasters because it's a component of Toastmasters, but you definitely don't have to be in Toastmasters to do this. But you can look up table topics, and basically what it is you get like a singular topic, like you speak a minute about, for example, what your favorite book is and why. So you would just talk about that right off the bat. Maybe you would get like 30 seconds to a minute to prepare about this topic, and then you would just speak it in front of everyone. And the biggest thing with these is simply to just get up there in front of an audience and speak. It doesn't have to be a perfect speech. If you can't hit the 1 minute mark, that's like totally okay, but you can build yourself up to it. But it's so easy. You can just simply search on Google table topics online, and you'll get a list of all of these topics that you can just talk about. You can practice it with your friends, maybe at the dinner table with your parents or older siblings or even younger siblings. You can just do this activity with your family. Then another thing is to, in school, in class, whenever you have a presentation, just volunteer to be the first person. Sometimes it's a lot easier to just sit back and be the last person and just wait to participate. But if you just volunteer to just be the first person, well, one, you already got that out of the way. And two, I think it's one of the most like boldest and bravest things you can do. And once you get over that, I truly feel like you can conquer classroom presentations. And even when the teacher asks you a question, like if you're in math class and she asks you to solve a multiplication problem, take the initiative and answer it yourself. Even if you get it wrong, that's totally okay, because then you get used to speaking in front of a large amount of people, and just know that everybody makes mistakes. Like when you're speaking publicly and you trip up over a word, that's like similar to maybe getting a question wrong in class. But the most important thing to learn here is, absolutely nobody's judging you at all. And, teachers will respect you for just trying to speak up more. So in my opinion, I don't think there's any flaws with this. It'll help you in school and it'll help you with public speaking. And then the last thing, this is more towards, older middle school and high school students, but this is definitely something that you can start thinking about right now, being part of a speech and debate class. I was in speech and debate throughout my high school, and it really helped me learn how to speak publicly, because I think every semester we had to give a minimum of 6 speeches, and you had to do it for a grade. So for me personally, I would spend a lot of time preparing these speeches, so I could just, do the best I can. But then also my debate coach would make us do impromptu speaking as well. So that gave me a lot of exposure, and a lot of other people in my class public speaking exposure to topics that they didn't really have any idea about. So that benefited everybody that was in the class. And I even used the skills that I learned in my speech and debate class today in the real world and in college. So when it comes to public speaking, I found that there are the 3 P's to success. Prepare, practice, and personalize. So when it comes to preparing, you have to know your audience, right? If you're speaking to a bunch of adults, there's a way of speaking that you have to do. You have to be a little bit more formal, I believe. But when you're speaking to children, I think you need to be a little more funny, show your personality. You can do this with either group, but it really depends on the purpose of your speech. So, how long will you be speaking? That also depends too. Is it a 5-minute speech? Are you just talking about one topic? Or are you doing a big research presentation and it's an hour-long speech? These details really matter. And if you know how long you have to speak, it's a lot easier to prepare for it rather than just going in blind and hoping that you reach the time limit. Then another thing is, where are you speaking? Are you just speaking in a classroom, or are you speaking in front of hundreds or thousands of people? There's a big difference between just speaking in front of your class, than like speaking in front of a graduation, maybe. They're two different events, and it's very important to figure out how to appeal to the audiences. Personally, for me, if it's a smaller audience, then I like to appeal to specific people in that room, maybe, and maybe like crack a couple of jokes here and there. When you're speaking to a smaller audience, I feel like it's a lot easier to make a personal impression. And majority, most of the time, when you're speaking to a smaller group of people, it's not as formal, unless if it's like a board meeting or a project. And then there's really big speeches. All of you guys are going to graduate high school, and maybe some of you will have to speak at graduation, and that's completely different as well. There's a lot of people you have to talk to, and you have to appeal to everybody there. So that's something that you really have to prepare for over maybe a week or so. So it's really important to know the goal of your speech. So what message are you trying to convey, and how do you intend to convey that message? So what is the outcome of your speech? What do you want the audience to know about yourself? And then the second thing is to practice. So truly, practice makes perfect. Every opportunity you have to practice, you should take it. Practice your presentation out loud. There's a scientific study that says that you need to get used to the sound of your own voice. So when you talk, you're not really paying attention to your actual voice. You're just kind of speaking, right? But it's very important to know how you're speaking and if there's anything you would like to change about yourself. This is why it's so important to record yourself while speaking. I think somebody is unmuted. Aishu, I think you're unmuted.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. So yes, so it's very important to get used to the sound of your own voice. So what I did usually is I had a voice recorder on my phone. And if you have an iPad or maybe a tablet, or maybe your parents want to record you, you can definitely do that. I think it's very important to record yourself using a video rather than just like voice memos, because you can see how you're speaking and your movements and maybe what you would like to change about that. The more times you do that, the easier it becomes, in my opinion. And public speaking will kind of become like a second nature to everybody. So even the most professional public speakers, even they practice hours and hours for a speech. And then the last part is to personalize the speech. You don't want to walk into a room and give a presentation on something that it just looks like you don't care about. You want to make the audience feel like what you're saying is the most interesting thing in the world. That's why it's very important to make the presentation your own. Add in your own personality. Don't try to copy things from other speeches and just say or just read something off. Completely learn your speech, know what you're talking about, and connect yourself with the topic of your speech. You make it mean something to you. And once you add that own personal element in, it really draws the audience in and they really feel like they can connect with you. If you can speak, you can influence. If you can influence, you can change lives. This is a quote that I found that really resonated with me, because we've all heard about Martin Luther King and his I Have a Dream speech. It touched millions of people, and his legacy still lives on, and he still has such a big impact today. And public speaking is what he owes to that. And if you know how to convey a message, you have the ability to change lives. Everybody in this room does. So it's really important that you all know that. So the golden rule is that you have 8 seconds. You have 8 seconds to draw your audience in. And if you can't convince them between, when you start and 8 seconds, then it's really likely that they will lose interest in what you have to say. So it's really important to start off your speech with a hook, something bold, or maybe even a question to draw your audience in. Don't start with a chart or a graph. Start with something that's very powerful and interesting. So something that had really helped me giving speeches is to know the structure of your speech. You want to tell a story. You don't just want to read off, like I said, you don't want to read off a sheet of paper and just list facts. You want to get the audience engaged and connect to them. So something to keep it organized is to have a clear beginning, middle, and end. You want to start in the introduction with a catchy one-liner, an introduction, and that'll engage your audience. Then in the middle, you provide most of the content there, and then you just tie it all up in the conclusion. So something that my teachers would tell me when I was, whether it was giving a speech or just writing an essay, they would say show, not tell. So rather than saying he wasn't a very nice man, you could show them by saying he stormed out, slammed the door, and kicked the cat. So you want to give a lot of details and make the audience visualize, make them see what you're saying. Create an image, and you want to just really stimulate their senses. So I was always told to incorporate the 5 senses into a speech. Make them, if there's like a dog barking, make them hear that dog barking. If you're talking about waking up in the morning and smelling the pancakes, talk about how the smell, like the aroma woke you up. Talk about like feeling the grass or like water. Just use all your 5 senses and really engage the audience that way. You want to like describe it. And once you do that, they'll have a better idea of what you're talking about, and they'll fill in the details with their own life experience. So how should you structure a speech? So like I said, there's the introduction, body, and conclusion. So you want to follow the 10-80-10 rule. So the introduction should be 10% of your speech. You don't want to keep it super long, just keep it short and sweet. The whole point of an introduction is to just explain what you're talking about and make the audience interested in what you're talking about. This should not take more than a couple minutes. Then the body, that's 80%. That is the meat of your speech. This is where all of your points come in. And it can get pretty long. So to keep the audience engaged during this part of your speech is start off each point with a topic sentence. Give a small topic sentence about what you're going to say, and that'll keep the audience engaged and they'll stay focused with what you have to say. I find that if you have 3 to 4 points and you create a transition between each one, that is probably the most successful way to do it. If you have too many points, then it can become a little bit jumbled up. So you want to keep it to 3 or 4 points, just the most important points. You can have sub points in between of that, but just keep it to like 3 or 4 like big points. Then after that comes the conclusion. This is 10% of the speech. It's kind of like the introduction, but you're wrapping up what you said and you just kind of summarize what you've discussed. The most important thing here is you do not bring up any new points here, and you thank your audience for listening to you. So if you're giving a presentation in class, I find that something very easy on the audience and easy for yourself is to use a diagram. So right here you have a main idea. You can break that up into a couple points, and then within those points you have like a subtopic. As you're drafting a speech, you can draw out diagrams as well, and even during your speech you can use visual aids depending on what the speech is and if it's appropriate. This has definitely helped me whenever I've had a class report, maybe for a history class, and I would use diagrams like this, and it would explain what I had to say in a very concise way. Here's another TED Talk. We can watch a little bit of it.
Some people think that there's a TED Talk formula. Give a talk on a round red rug, share a childhood story, divulge a personal secret, end with an inspiring call to action. No, that's not how to think of a TED Talk. In fact, if you overuse those devices, you're just going to come across as cliched or emotionally manipulative. But there is one thing that all great TED Talks have in common, and I would like to share that thing with you. Because over the past 12 years, I've had a ringside seat listening to many hundreds of amazing TED speakers like these. I've helped them prepare their talks for prime time and learn directly from them their secrets of what makes for a great talk. And even though these speakers and their topics all seem completely different, they actually do have one key common ingredient. And it's this. Your number one task as a speaker is to transfer into your listeners' minds an extraordinary gift, a strange and beautiful object that we call an idea. Let me show you what I mean. Here's Haley. She is about to give a TED Talk, and frankly, she's terrified.
Haley Van Dyke.
Over the course of 18 minutes, 1,200 people, many of whom have never seen each other before, are finding that their brains are starting to sync with Haley's brain and with each other. They're literally beginning to exhibit the same brainwave patterns. And I don't just mean that they're feeling the same emotions. There's something even more startling happening. Let's take a look inside Haley's brain for a moment. There are billions of interconnected neurons in an impossible tangle. But look, here, right here, a few million of them are linked to each other in a way which represents a single idea. And incredibly, this exact pattern is being recreated in real time inside the minds of everyone listening. That's right. In just a few minutes, a pattern involving millions of neurons is being teleported into 1,200 minds just by people listening to a voice and watching a face. But wait, what is an idea anyway? Well, you can think of it as a pattern of information that helps you understand and navigate the world. Ideas come in all shapes and sizes, from the complex and analytical to the simple and aesthetic. And here are just a few examples shared from the TED stage. Sir Ken Robinson, creativity is key to our kids' future.
My contention is that creativity now is as important in education as literacy, and we should treat it with the same status.
Elora Hardy, building from bamboo is beautiful.
It is growing all around us. It's strong, it's elegant, it's earthquake resistant.
Chimamanda Adichie, people are more than a single identity.
The single story creates stereotypes. And the problem with stereotypes is not that they are untrue, but that they are incomplete.
Your mind is teeming with ideas, and not just randomly. They're carefully linked together. Collectively, they form an amazingly complex structure that is your personal worldview. It's your brain's operating system. It's how you navigate the world. And it is built up out of millions of individual ideas. So, for example, if one little component of your worldview is the idea that kittens are adorable, then when you see this, you'll react like this. But if another component of your worldview is the idea that leopards are dangerous, then when you see this, you'll react a little bit differently. So it's pretty obvious why the ideas that make up your worldview are crucial. You need them to be as reliable as possible, a guide to the scary but wonderful real world out there. Now,
okay. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to stop it over there. But I thought this was really interesting because we're all connected, through the brain. If you really take apart the brain, it's a bunch of electrical signals. And I thought it was really cool that we can all be connected that way. If you're giving an idea or a presentation, our brains kind of work the exact same way. So if you're ever feeling nervous, just know when it comes down to it, we really are the same in the end. So I just wanted to wrap it up. And I encourage all of you once again to participate in the youth speaking competition. It's on July 10th. Here is some information about it. If you would like to take a picture or take a screenshot. Yeah. Okay, move on now.
Aishu, you can go on with the video. Yeah.
Okay, should I continue the video?
Yes, yes, you can continue the video.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty obvious why the ideas that make up your worldview are crucial. You need them to be as reliable as possible, a guide to the scary but wonderful real world out there. Now, different people's worldviews can be dramatically different. For example, how does your worldview react when you see this image?
What do you think when you look at me? A woman of faith, an expert, maybe even a sister, or oppressed, brainwashed, a terrorist?
Whatever your answer, there are millions of people out there who would react very differently. So that's why ideas really matter. If communicated properly, they're capable of changing forever how someone thinks about the world and shaping their actions both now and well into the future. Ideas are the most powerful force shaping human culture. So if you accept that your number one task as a speaker is to build an idea inside the minds of your audience, here are 4 guidelines for how you should go about that task. 1, limit your talk to just one major idea. Ideas are complex things. You need to slash back your content so that you can focus on the single idea you're most passionate about and give yourself a chance to explain that one thing properly. You have to give context, share examples, make it vivid. So pick one idea and make it the through line running through your entire talk so that everything you say links back to it in some way. 2, give your listeners a reason to care. Before you can start building things inside the minds of your audience, you have to get their permission to welcome you in. And the main tool to achieve that? Curiosity. Stir your audience's curiosity. Use intriguing, provocative questions to identify why something doesn't make sense and needs explaining. If you can reveal a disconnection in someone's worldview, they'll feel the need to bridge that knowledge gap. And once you've sparked that desire, it will be so much easier to start building your idea. 3, build your idea piece by piece out of concepts that your audience already understands. You use the power of language to weave together concepts that already exist in your listeners' minds, but not your language, their language. You start where they are. But speakers often forget that many of the terms and concepts they live with are completely unfamiliar to their audiences. Now, metaphors can play a crucial role in showing how the pieces fit together because they reveal the desired shape of the pattern based on an idea that the listener already understands. For example, when Jennifer Kahn wanted to explain the incredible new biotechnology called CRISPR, she said, "It's as if for the first time you had a word processor to edit DNA. CRISPR allows you to cut and paste genetic information really easily." Now, a vivid explanation like that delivers a satisfying aha moment as it snaps into place in our minds. It's important, therefore, to test your talk on trusted friends and find out which parts they get confused by. 4, here's the final tip. Make your idea worth sharing. By that, I mean, ask yourself the question, who does this idea benefit? And I need you to be honest with the answer. If the idea only serves you or your organization, then I'm sorry to say it's probably not worth sharing. The audience will see right through you. But if you believe that the idea has the potential to brighten up someone else's day, or change someone else's perspective for the better, or inspire someone to do something differently, then you have the core ingredient to a truly great talk, one that can be a gift to them and to all of us.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I thought it was really helpful to me. You want to make your idea worth sharing and something that can benefit everybody. And I feel like public speaking and giving a speech is a really good way to just share your idea with a lot of people. So like I said about the public speaking competition, I hope you all are very inspired to take part in it. I really encourage all of you to join. I truly think that this is a very talented, very intelligent group of people. So there's the registration link. Please go ahead and join. So thank you all for listening. I'd like to give a special thanks to Priya Auntie and Muthu Uncle for giving me the opportunity to speak here today, and also the Metroplex Tamil Sangam for hosting me. So I appreciate that a lot. Are there any questions?
Are there any Toastmasters clubs that you know of that I can join?
Not that I know of right now, but if I find any, I included my email in these slides. So if you want to just shoot me an email, I can go and I can look for some.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Yes, Shambhavi?
Wait, were you in a Toastmasters?
Yes, I was.
Wait, can
Long
you
time
can you tell if you're can you tell me a few examples about what they do there?
Yeah,
Toastmasters?
So when I was part of it, they would have each week, they would have one speaker who was selected maybe the previous time to give a speech over a topic that was selected for them. So I think the first time you speak, it's just like an introduction about yourself. And then they give you a manual and you choose from topics there. Maybe it's about current events or about school or something that's very relevant and important to speak about. That speech would be about 5 to 7 minutes. And then they would have impromptu table topic speaking, where you would just pick out a card. It would have a topic on it. You would get a minute to prepare, and then you would just speak. And they would do about like 3 or 4 of those in the meeting.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Pranav?
Wait, will you guys share the slides?
I didn't have a chat question.
Will you guys share the slides?
I can figure out how to share the slides with everyone.
Yeah.
Auntie, is that possible?
Yeah, guys. Yeah, Aishwarya Sivakumar is going to share the PowerPoint with me. Then I can email to all the parents.
Yes. Any other questions?
Aishwarya, I have a question. How was
Yes.
your first speech like?
Oh my goodness, Auntie, my first speech was a disaster. I did not know what I was doing my first time. I think the first time I gave did a public speech was maybe in like 6th grade, around that. I joined a club, this like improv club. It was supposed to be a comedy club. So it wasn't really like it was part of my middle school, but like I did it just for fun, because I had never done theater or anything like that. And I remember the first time I went, the teacher just made me go and stand up and give like a comedy act. And I got so scared, but I went in every week and I practiced and I like slowly became better at it.
That's fantastic. And especially going back again and again to get something that you really like. That's really inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah, I encourage everybody to go join an improv club. I went to Stafford Middle School, like, I don't know. I don't even remember how many years ago at this point, but it's probably so much better now to join the improv speaking club. Probably a lot more advanced now. So I really encourage you all. Yes, Farsha?
I'm saying you're inspiring to a lot of people. Let me tell you that.
Thank you.
So you said that we had 8 seconds to like hook our audience onto our topic. Why is it 8 seconds? Is it like a scientific number or?
Yeah,
Because
so
I
I
just thought that was kind of random number.
Yeah, so I don't know the exact detail, but I do believe that they did make like a scientific study on not just like speeches, but of the human attention span. And they say that the attention span only lasts for 8 seconds. So if you don't have your audience like hooked by then you kind of lose their attention span. So that's it's also the same amount of time that you have to make a first impression on somebody. Just like within the first 8 seconds, they'll already have an impression about you. So I believe it comes from the human attention span.
Yeah, that's right, Aishu. So the human attention span is for 8 seconds. So within 8 seconds, we have to hook the audience. Yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah, that was a really good question. Any other ones? Feel free to just unmute yourself.
Aishu, I have a question. Like, why do we have to include, when we speak, why do you have to include our 5 cents to explain our feelings and voice?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
No, the 5 cents, you were talking about 5 cents. When we explain the topic, we have to include our 5 cents with the speech.
Yeah, so when you're giving a speech to an audience, if you're just talking on and on about, points and just giving facts and not really too much details, the audience is gonna lose focus, right? The attention span is only 8 seconds, so it kind of comes and goes. And I kind of like watching a movie. When you're watching a movie, you kind of see what's actually happening, right? Well, when you're reading a book or like telling a story, that's kind of the same thing. Movies tell stories too. So I feel like the best way to get your audience to stay focused is to invoke the 5 senses. It kind of feels like they're experiencing that speech with you, or that moment, or the idea that you're sharing with you physically. Yeah, Aishu, you had a question?
Thank you, Aishu.
I have a question.
Yeah.
My question is that do you usually like put your toys near the wall and talk to them like the toys are the audience? Because that's what I do sometimes.
That is so good. I actually used to do that a lot. I would talk to like my stuffed animals and just, give speeches. That's a really good thing to do. I think like another way to make it more helpful is if you like line up your stuffed animals and you like look at them like right in the eyes.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a really good practice.
And I just do like a speech.
Aishu, Aravind, I was about to ask each individual one from your own experience. So how do you guys prepare for the public speaking? If you have any tips, we would like to hear from you guys. So friends, if you have anything, just come on, speak up and give the tips to us. Like Aishu said, she talked in front of the toys. She keeps the toys and she talk in front of them. That's how she practiced her public speaking skill. Is that right, Aishu?
Yes, I did.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Another way that could help would be like if you just spoke in front of other people and then they could like in the audience point of view, they could be like they could help you out, like add more things that would make your topic more clear.
Oh yeah, who's speaking?
Shambhavi.
Oh, Sambhavi. Oh, that's a good one, Sambhavi.
That's a very good idea, yeah. You guys are a bright bunch. I'm very impressed.
We have
Okay,
speakers.
Yeah, there are 3 hands raised. I'm just gonna go in the order that I saw. Tejasvi, I saw your hand was raised for like 5 minutes.
I think not many people do this, but I talk to myself inside like a mirror and I practice myself because I usually sing and I have like expressions, so talking was very easy for me. And I started talking to myself, and I think that helped me a lot. But my mother thought I was crazy. That's true though. But I kept talking to myself, and I made myself a little better and self-confident and esteem.
That's good. Yeah, practicing in front of a mirror is very helpful. Recording yourself. It's great advice. Okay, Varsha, you can go next.
I think what Tejasvi said is something that I do as well, and it actually helps me a lot. But also, I think when you're trying to memorize your speech, something that helps me is to connect it with things that can be easy to remember and split it up into parts. So sometimes when I'm reading like a speech somebody gave, my brain just automatically splits it up into sections, and all the sections get remembered by a certain object or idea, and that really helps me.
That's really good. Yeah, I think that's really important. Also, another thing is if you're able to rehearse your speech in the same area that you will present the speech in, then that also helps a lot with memory. That's a really good point. Okay, Manasvini, you can go.
I just picture the audience as my family and friends because I know that they would never judge me even if I made a mistake.
That's so sweet. That's really good. Okay, Bhavishya, you can go next.
So when you're like making your speech, like take a document or a piece of paper and then like split your speech up. So like take the hook and create the hook. Then take the intro and create the intro, the body, and like just space it out. And then when you're doing a debate, what I do is like first I think about what objections they would give us, like what questions they would ask. So then I would have some rebuttals ready.
That's so good. Yeah, I like how you brought up the point about a debate because you're always gonna have a debate in life. Are always gonna, in school, that's always something that comes up. So, knowing the other side is very good because then you know how to argue for your own side and see other points of views. Okay, Sarvish, you can go next.
On your speech, do you have to choose any topic you want, or is there any specific topics?
Are you talking about for the speech competition?
Yeah, for the speech competition.
Aishu, can I explain this question?
Yeah, go ahead, Auntie.
Thank you, Aishu. Surveys. So you can pick your own topic, or if you see the flyer, you can see a couple of examples on the flyer. You can choose any one of the samples, or you can choose any similar to that. So it's on your own. You decide.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's up to your choice. So you can decide any topic you want.
Who are the judges?
Judges, you might know the judges when you come to the competition, dear.
Okay, moving on. Nitin, do you have a question or comment?
A comment. Well, I was just going to say when I practice and when I rehearsal, I just call my parents and then like create my own stage in my house in like a little room, and then tell them or like speak with them, and then tell them to judge me actually, and I would do the same with my friends too.
That's really good. Yeah, just getting as much exposure as you can. It's very good practice.
Yeah, that's a really good one, Nitin.
Yeah. Okay, so Riti, you can go next.
You could really like watch other people TED Talks, and you can take some tips that they do in their TED Talks, so you can do it and put it in yours.
Very good. Yeah. yeah, you can take examples from other speeches. Is there anything else?
Aishu?
Yeah.
If possible, could you please summarize the PowerPoint and explain as a bullet points to them?
Yeah.
The most important points for the public speaking skill, just summarize, and it will be really helpful for the participants and kids.
Yeah, so I think maybe the first point of public speaking, you know, the first point is nerves. Nerves are very common. It's inevitable. It's always going to happen. So instead of just trying to completely get rid of it, I think everyone should kind of learn how to like live with their nerves, know how to manage it. And I think the best way to do that is to just keep on practicing. You know, like the others said here today, they all have their own ways of doing that, whether it's talking to their stuffed animals or rehearsing in front of their friends. All of these things help calm the nerves, which I think is really good. Which brings me to my next point of getting a lot of exposure. So, you know, talking to friends and family, or even in the classroom setting, being the first one to give a presentation, or being one to ask questions in class, or being someone to answer questions. That's all great ways of exposure. Or joining a Toastmasters class or a debate class, all really good. And then, you know, we also talked about how to organize your speech. You can write down the speech before you present it, maybe on a piece of paper, or, you know, type it up. You should format it with like the introduction, the body, and then the conclusion. So it's important to follow like the 10-80-10 rule. So 10% introduction, 80% middle, and then 10% conclusion. And then, you know, feel free to use visual aids to make the audience feel more engaged. Use the 5 senses. So remember, you only have 8 seconds to make a first impression, so you have to make it count. And I think those are most of the tips that I had, you know, in summary.
Oh, no problem, Aishu. Thank you.
Yeah.
Friends, do you have any more questions? You can ask Aishu.
Also, feel free to email me. I check my email very often, so I'll respond super fast. Feel free to note it down. And, you know, if you like think of another question, or you didn't say your question today, my email is always open. So please feel free to email me. I'll respond. But I'll answer any more questions today right here.
Can I tell you a comment?
Yeah.
So I actually did 2 speeches. I researched and picked my favorite facts and wrote them on a sheet of paper and memorized them. So I did a both your speech and a performance project.
Wow. That's really good. Yeah. Yeah, so if there's no more questions, I think that concludes my presentation here today for this group. But I really hope that I helped you all, and I hope you enjoyed it. You know, thank you, Priya Auntie, thank you, Muthu Uncle, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Metroplex Tamil Sangam, for having me here today. It was such an honor to speak to you guys. I truly enjoyed it. I think, once again, I've said this so many times, but I think all of you guys are so intelligent and, you know, so smart. I see the creativity in all of you, so just never lose that spark. But yes, I think it's time to move on to the next group if they're here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, friends, and the parents, those who have patience for when we had some technology issues. We appreciate your help and patience. This is our first time workshop, and if you had any inconvenience at this time, we are very sorry about that. Thank you so much for participating with us. If you have any more questions, just email Aishu or my email ID tfw@mtsu.com. Thank you, guys.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So can I email you for the Toastmasters?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, use my email for anything. You know, if you want to ask me questions or just chat, go ahead. I'll try my best to see what's out there right now.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
That's wonderful, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Priya, for organizing the event. Thank you, Aishwarya. Thank you so much for the students volunteer. That lot we came to know about you guys today. That's lot. It's in fact, it's overwhelming because all the kids, every single person who participated today is so good in your speeches. Let it be about your TED Talk or about the dosa that you like, or about everything that's happening around you. So I believe Aishwarya gave all the tips that you guys can engage in your speech. And please, we all encourage every single participant to please do participate in our competition, and all our youth volunteers are really working hard on this project to make it as a very big success. So please do support them. So every day when you have your drink, right, when you have your cup of hot chocolate or milk, always remember, concentrate on your things. That makes a C. Understand whatever you're doing, that makes a U, and practice, that makes a P. That's end of the day, it's a cup. So remember, cup is what you need every day. And that's why you give it to the people who are always the winners. So each and everybody who participated today are winners. Okay, so looking forward to meet you all in our workshop. Have a fantastic day, guys. Thank you, Priya,
for
and
this
thank you so much
workshop.
for the volunteers.